Welcome to the Built for Anything podcast. I am your host, Hertz, and I have the wonderful, the beautiful Courtney Garza on today's show. Now, Courtney is very well known here in Dallas, as well as in the vegan community, because of her great personality and her passion for veganism. Now, I asked her to come on this podcast just to catch up with her and come to find out that she's also an entrepreneur now. Okay, so she left her 9-to-5 to pursue her passion, to pursue other business ventures. So we talk about some of those things. You get a couple of exclusives of things that she's working on now that's going to be coming out very, very soon. We also talk about relationships and just growing as an individual. A little bit about veganism as well. So this is going to be a very, very interesting podcast. Like I said, Courtney is an amazing person. She has a lot going on. And so we try to cover a lot in this podcast. So if you enjoyed this podcast, I ask you to please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that way you could be notified of any new podcast that I upload. Also, if you are out there and you are someone who is in the Dallas area and you think that you can fit this platform that I'm creating right now, all right, if you think that you are a guest that could fit some of the stories and you just have something interesting going on, maybe you're an entrepreneur, an artist, a creator, or just someone that has a story to tell, please give me an email, send me an email at thebuiltforanything@gmail.com. Okay, that's thebuiltforanything@gmail.com. I almost forgot it. I have so many emails in my head. But anyway, guys, please send me an email. Maybe we could talk and see if you can fit, what I'm doing. I'm open to having many, many more guests in the future. So I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for watching out there as well. Please leave your comments, hit the like button, leave me a review on iTunes and Podbean or Google Play, whichever you listen to. It does help the show. The more views, the more, please share it with your friends or family or anyone who you think would enjoy this content. All right. It does help the show. Okay. So without further ado, I bring to you Courtney Garza. Enjoy the show. You're doing a lot on social media and you do a lot just in general. So I'm really, really happy for you to be on. For those people out there who might be looking at this and saying to themselves, man, she looks pretty familiar. Hopefully, if she does, you have watched the documentary, The Best Decision Ever, which I had Courtney Garza on. We talked a little bit about your journey to veganism, you being in a vegan relationship at the time. And so, really ever since then, haven't gotten a chance to catch up with you. So now is a great time to really catch up to all the great things that you have going on with you. So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been a fast and furious time, as every time tends to be with me. That's just my personality. Can't say that I hate it. So Courtney Garza, as he said. My Instagram is colormecourtney_. All about color, clearly. I don't stray away from it. Again, just my personality. I love it. Kind of bright in your face, but never obnoxious. It's always in a classy way, I promise. So I got a lot of things going on. Yes, I'm vegan, and that's at the core of everything I do. And I really try to infiltrate it wherever I go. So, goodness, I hinted at it, and I encourage everyone to go watch the documentary if they haven't already. It's not that long. Definitely worth it. And everyone that has watched it has said that they just loved it. I even had someone tell me it brought them to tears. So
wow, that's awesome.
If you have a moving documentary like that, don't take it for granted. Definitely watch it. And especially that I got to work with you on that was such an honor. So yeah, you hinted at that I was in a vegan relationship, and I was, and it was great, but I'm no longer in it. Some things have changed. Well, how do I even say that? Everything has changed almost in my life, which I called it upon myself. I asked forth a lot of change in my life, and that's exactly what I got, because the saying, be careful what you wish for, is so true. But I wanted it all. It's great. So yes, the relationship has changed. I am now single, and definitely excited. It is bittersweet, as every ending of a relationship is, whether it's a friend relationship, family, or romantic, or business. So for me, it was a little bit of business and romantic, moving on from that relationship. Always bittersweet, but definitely excited for both of our futures, which is a lot to say for someone that's in a relationship. It did not work out for this and that reason, that we decided to just move forward as individuals. But the brilliance of it is that we're still friends and that we're still supportive of each other. Zach, whom, again, you can see in the documentary, and you've even had a podcast with him, so I'm sure people can reference his individual story. But he's awesome, great vegan for the Dallas community for sure. We had a business together, and that was exciting to build, but we have since mostly moved apart from that. We still have some stuff that we're working on together that is cool and exciting that I can touch more on later, but mostly deciding to figure out this life on our own, and still cheering each other on the sidelines, which is exactly what I need right now. So
which is a very mature way to look at it, by the way, because most people, it doesn't tend to be amicable after times, but I'm excited for both of you guys. You guys are, again, both of you didn't have to be on the documentary that I did. Both of you opened up your arms, and allowed me into your home and did the podcast, not the podcast, I'm sorry, did the documentary, which I was very, very grateful for. So I'm excited for both of you guys in terms of whatever you guys decide to do individually in terms of your future. So, which is, I'm excited to hear about, because I know you see, always, whenever I do see you, you always seem to attract a lot of positive energy, which is good. I'm an energy person.
Yep.
Right. I like positive vibes. And, usually, you hear people talk about other people's spirit. And I believe in that. Like, I do believe that we give off a certain type of vibe, a certain type of energy. And, in first meeting you, which, I'm sorry, I'm kind of going on, but I'm trying to remember do you remember the first time that I actually did meet you and Zach? You probably don't remember. It was a while ago. Oh,
gosh. But remind me.
I'll put it into context for me, because literally I had just moved from New York to Dallas.
Yeah, I remember that.
And no lie, this might have been like my second or third day being here, right? And I went to a Whole Foods, and I had on like a vegan shirt, and I ran into, I ran because I didn't know the person, but someone just stopped me and is like, "Hey, you're vegan?" And because they seen the shirt, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm vegan." And we just started talking, and he's like, "Hey, there's this event going on with some other vegans. Maybe you should come through." And I was like, okay, I'm not used to like people being so open arms and welcoming.
That's that Southern hospitality.
Exactly.
You don't get in New York.
Yeah, we sure don't. So then I said, you know what? Why not? Meet some people. So it was actually, I'm trying to think if it was a book signing. Was it a book that came out? A cookbook or something?
I remember now. This is in November of 2016.
Yes.
Yep, I remember.
That's when it's exactly. So I went to that, which wasn't too far from here. It was in the area.
Yep.
And
right by Fair Park.
Yes, right by Fair Park. Yeah. And that's when I saw you and some other people as well. And so that's when it kind of first started. So I always kind of remembered you guys from there. And then after that, I just kind of see you on social media, and fast forward, and we kind of got in touch. So that's how it all started for me.
That's right.
You guys were doing positive things from the time that I saw you. So it just kind of stuck in my mind to connect.
So that's what me and Zach used to do. We would put on vegan events, and that particular one was a book signing with our good friend Jackie Soban for her release of her last book. She has since had a newer book, but it was called Vegan. Her account is called Vegan Yak Attack, and so this was a book that we did tastings of different menu item or different recipe items that she had on there, and it was cool. She got to talk about how she made it and the process, and it was just kind of a book signing / tasting / we had a bunch of vegan vendors selling their locally made goods. And so that was something that we were passionate about, is not only getting people educated about vegan eating or products, but also get a hands-on experience with it, like actually interact, actually taste them, actually meet other vegans or people on the fence, or, that's something that I've found is exciting in building an experience for people. You can tell people all day, go vegan, or here's all the research, which is cool. Of course, they need to have that in front of them. But when you really get them in the trenches, like working with their hands, tasting it for themselves, like you did the work to make it for them so they don't have to do it themselves. Because let's be honest, most people are just inherently lazy. That's just how it goes. Right. So you got to go the extra step for them. And I'm totally willing to do that if that means that they're going to be healthier, animals are going to be saved, the planet's going to be in a better place, standing for us to live in. It's a well-rounded, win-win-win-win scenario. So if that means that I have to work a little bit harder in order for that to happen, then I'm going to work a little bit harder. Totally worth it. So, yeah, that's so cool that was the first time we met. I'm honored because that is my heart and soul. Having these experiences for people, whether it be just visiting my social media page or going to an event that I put on or I was a part of putting on, and then remembering such a positive, feeling from that. Wow. That's, makes me sleep at night. So, yeah, I've always been really someone to dive deep in any community that I've been involved in ever since I was, ever since I can remember. And I think that's so exciting because one of my heart and souls, even before I went vegan, like I said, being vegan is the underlying factor in pretty much everything I do, is community. I truly believe that living in a great community makes life better, no matter who you are. And, you can be the most introverted person. I'm going to try to talk to you and get you involved because I believe that you'll be happier for it. And so befriending everyone that I meet is something that I try to do everywhere. Getting people involved, getting people excited, on fire for something. It doesn't have to always be veganism. It could just be like, hey, volunteer for this, or hey, you would love this person. They're doing similar things it seems like you're passionate about. I've always been a connector in that way, and that's something that I am also very passionate about. If I see two different things or two different people that look like they would fit together and they don't otherwise know each other, then I'll be that middleman to make the connection. And people so far in my life have been nothing but thankful for that. And I'm so happy, if anything, to just be an inspiration.
Well, let me ask you about that, because what do you think it is about you that attracts so much people to you? And I mean that this is someone talking to you who's seen it. So I it may not translate entirely into social media numbers and things like that. I'm talking about, when you bring up inspiration, obviously there's something about you that draws people, right? Like a friend of the show who's actually on here, Jonathan, right? Jonathan Vasquez, he talks about how, he got into veganism after talking to you. Right. Crazy. So, and he's just one individual, and I'm sure there's other people that you might have influenced as well. But what do you think it is about you that's so different from other people who just, I guess they just can't connect with people as well as you have?
I try to be as open-armed as I can, really not turning away any person from any walk of life. And I say this all the time, I'm way too positive for my own good. I truly, truly believe that everyone is inherently good to their core. And it doesn't matter what facade or like hard, gruff personality you give off, I'm going to find it. You're good at the core. And I guess that's the determination in me, is to just bring out the goodness in people. I can see it. I know it's there. And again, I'm just passionate about people. Community, and I think people see that. They're like, wow, like she believes in me, or wow, she really wants a better world to live in, and she's willing to help me or them or us get there. And again, if that means that I have to work harder, then I'll work harder, so be it. I think it's just everyone's going to be happier in the end. And so I think it's a combination of things. I'm just very optimistic, very open-armed. I smile a lot. And I'm telling you, it's the colorfulness too. I mean, who doesn't like purple? It's just fun. And I always I'm wearing black today, but I usually wear bright colors, and people are just like, you're just so bright. I'm like, I know, does it make you happy? So why not? If I can spread that, I mean, this is how I feel inside. So if I can share that with people, maybe they don't feel as bright and shiny, then okay, you can have some of mine. Here you go. And so maybe that's it. I don't know. But I can tell you, it's never ending. It's I mean, people are like, you just have so much energy. I'm like, I know, it's insane. Like, I love coffee so much, but I just can't even sometimes finish one cup, to be honest. I have a YouTube channel and a Instagram called Coffee with Courtney. And people think I just drink coffee all day. No, oh my God, if I drink coffee every day or all day, I would be a rocket ship. I probably shouldn't even drink coffee, to be honest, but I just love it so much. I do it anyway. Yeah, so it's great. I mean, I feel like I'm blessed. I'm honored. I have that in me. So something I have to ask myself is, okay, if I was bestowed, however you want to say it, whatever you believe in, if I was given this positivity and happiness unending, then that'd be so terrible of me to just bottle it in. I should share it with everyone, right?
I agree.
What else would you do with it? So that's what I do. I mean, that's why I feel it very necessary, no matter where I live. Mind you, I have lived in Texas my whole life, but no matter what city or region of Texas or whatever, everywhere that I've lived, I have made it a point to get involved with my community, really put my name out there, really, be on the front line and get involved in any way that I can, because I feel like I have to. Like, I was given this life to do that. And not to toot my own horn, but I've had people in all the communities that I've lived in, whether it be the hometown that I grew up in or the college that I went to, or the different areas of Dallas-Fort Worth that I've lived in for jobs. I've had everyone in all of those communities tell me that I've really made a difference. And that means to me that, okay, it wasn't all for naught. Like, I got involved. I did it. I did exactly what I set out to do. And that's kind of what you got to do in all cases, I believe, is that you can truly manifest anything. So if my goal going into a work situation, a community engagement situation, or a relationship, or really anything, is to make a difference, a positive difference, then I'm going to do that. It's exactly what I'm going to do. And I did it.
No, listen, the purple hair, the color, that's definitely your signature trademark. I kid you not, the other night when I saw you, because I was doing some behind the scenes, which I'll talk a little bit about with V Eats, right? Yep. So I said I wanted to tell you a little bit more about it. So I don't know if you've ever seen the show Chef's Table. Have you ever seen it on Netflix? Okay, great, awesome. So I was watching Chef's Table for the first time, which I don't know what took me so long to watch it, because it's an amazing documentary around restaurants and food and just the cinematography, everything about it. And I'm sitting there and I'm going through everything and I'm saying to myself, man, these are cool restaurants. This is a cool concept. But I'm like, ain't one single vegan restaurant in this entire, like, not one. So then I started thinking and I said to myself, I would love to do something similar to this, or at least with this concept, but for a vegan restaurant here in Dallas, right? And so I started thinking, I was like, well, the restaurant has to be a little bit more on the higher end, right, for it to be ideal, right? And so not necessarily just a fast food in and out, just something where people could sit down, the tables, everything. So V Eats came to my mind. And so I said, you know what, I want to do a concept for V Eats like this. And so I went, spoke to Chef Troy, the owner of the restaurant, pitched him the idea, and he was like, man, I love it. Definitely, he gave me the access to the behind the scenes and everything. And so literally that Saturday or Friday, it was a Thursday, whatever day it was a Thursday. I'm sitting there, we're basically almost halfway, we're basically done, we're sitting there, we're eating, and right at the corner of my eye, I kid you not, like,
all I saw was like purple at the corner of my eye. And I don't know why my brain just automatically is like, that has to be Courtney.
Yep.
And like I turn my head and I'm like, oh, and I'm sitting there with Jonathan and I'm like, oh look, Courtney just came in. And he turns, he's like, yeah. But it was never a thing of like, is that her? You know how sometimes you see people and you like, I don't know if is that so and so? You know how you had to look twice?
No doubt.
I saw it, I was like, yep, that's her. I was like, I'm gonna go say what's up. So we go over there, we say what's up.
I'm so glad.
And so it was just funny, I tell you, that's like your trademark.
It is.
It's definitely that. I'm sure you get that a lot.
Somebody asked me the other day, when do you think you'll stop having purple hair? I'm like, I don't know, when I die or something.
Someone asked you that?
Probably never.
Have you ever changed the other colors though?
Yeah, I've had pretty much every color.
Yeah. Red, yellow,
yep.
all the colors.
I even had a mohawk once, like not a faux hawk. Like I actually shaved the side of my head.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I did it in college. It was platinum blonde and blue. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's awesome. It was one of those things that I always told myself that I was going to do. I was like, I have to do this at some point in my life. And obviously the best time seemed like college. I was like, okay, I don't have like a professional grown-up job, so this is the time. I would totally do it again. It was so fun just to wake up in the morning and just, I'm done. It was awesome. But I did it at a really bad time. It was December. It was so cold. The side of my head was cold. But yeah, it was fun. So I've done every color of the rainbow because, again, I just have a lot of color inside of me, so I have to express outward. But purple just has always resonated with me. That was actually the first color I ever dyed my hair. 10 years ago, I started dyeing my hair really in 2007, 2008. And purple was the first color. And purple, for me, other than royalty, obviously, just kidding, has always been a thing. I mean, all the way back to being 2 years old. I mean, Barney was my favorite. I always carried around a Barney with me. My walls were always purple as a kid. Even my mom would say it. I would pick out the purple pencil bag. I mean, it's just like, when you know, you know. It's my thing. Purple's my color. It never gets old either. I can't tell you how many purple clothes I have. I paint my nails purple. I mean, like, everyone's like, you just don't get tired of it? I'm like, no. I love it. I love it. It's my trademark, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Definitely stick with it.
It's a marketable trait. You're not gonna forget the girl with purple hair.
I was just gonna say.
It has gotten me. I'll be honest. It has gotten me far in my career. I would believe that. And what the coolest part is, even though I've been in more corporate scenarios with my past jobs, you would think that the jobs would turn me away because it's too vibrant or it's too out there. No, if anything, I've gone into my interviews with full confidence in my work ethic, in my education, my skills, and my, obviously, creativity and uniqueness, that everywhere, and again, not to toot my own horn, but really everywhere that I've applied to, I've gotten the job. And yeah, I'm the only one in the office with purple hair or facial piercing for that matter, but it's because I own it. It's not too obnoxious. It's not too, edgy. It's almost, I've had people tell me, like, you wear it classy. Good. I would hope so. So I think that's cool. And I honestly tell women that. I tell everybody that who come up to me. They're like, man, I wish I could do purple hair. I wish I could do something fun like that. I'm like, why don't you? You have to have the confidence to back it up. That's with anything. A tattoo, a style. I mean, if you don't feel it in your heart and soul, and you're like, ooh, this is too much. Oh, everyone's going to judge me. Then they will. They will do exactly that. But if you're like, dang, I look good. Like, this is me. Then everyone's going to jive with it too. They're going to be like, you look good. That's you. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Anything. I mean, it's just, it's not even the matter of like fake it till you make it. You just feel it. Like you, even if you're a bad dancer, but you just own those bad dance moves. Then people will be like, dang, look at them. They're feeling themselves. It's like getting your own skin and just soak it up. And I think that's honestly what's gotten me far too, is just really having confidence in myself and doing the hard work of figuring out who I am and then announcing it to the world, either verbally or with the way I look, like, hey world, this is me. And guess what? I love me. And you're gonna love me too. And so far, that's the feedback I've been getting, and that's awesome.
Listen, I wish everybody had that same kind of mindset, right? Because it's true. It's how you carry yourself, no matter what.
Everything.
Your exterior, people gonna always have a perception. You can't necessarily change that per se, but I think what's most important is how do you view yourself. And I think the fact that you're not doing this necessarily for an acceptance or to hide something.
No.
It makes you happy, but you know who you are, and you keep moving forward. And this way, because it's not a barrier for you, it doesn't become a barrier for other people. And I just wish a lot of people had that same kind of mindset with really everything. You know, just because it's out there doesn't mean it has to necessarily stop you from doing the things that you want to do in life. So I do want to talk about that, right? Because I know there's a lot of things that you've been involved in, especially, with restaurants and social media. So I want you to talk about, how are you building your brand? Like, what exactly is the Courtney, the Color Me Courtney?
Yeah.
The Color Me Courtney brand. Talk to me. What is that supposed to represent?
It's crazy because I oftentimes think that people go to my page and they're like, oh my God, what does this girl do? She does everything. Because I try to I have so many passions. I always joke like I have so many irons on the fire, or I have so many plates spinning. I'm like that juggling circus act. Like, oh, let me keep this going. This is going. And I just have a lot of energy. Like, and I just have to get it out somehow. And I don't want to say it's like throwing darts at a board, but kind of. I'm just like, if I'm passionate about coffee, for example, then I'm going to go after it and do something with that passion. I don't necessarily have hobbies. My hobbies turn into my career, which is cool.
Which is how it should be.
It's really neat because everyone should find a job that makes them happy, that they're excited to get up in the morning and do and talk about or stay up late working on because they just want to, because it makes them happy. And that's something that I've always tried to do with everything that I do, with everything that I've done in my career so far and everything I'm currently working on, is that you got to learn to just go for it. I mean, if you love it so much, like that's why I've never really understand when people say like, oh yeah, it's a hobby of mine. I'm like, why is it as a hobby? You need to do more with it. So again, with coffee, I found that I fell in love with that. So me and a partner turned it into a YouTube channel, and now we're growing that brand, Coffee with Courtney, and it's really taken off. And then obviously with veganism, me and Zach built Harvest Hands, and now I'm currently working on a new project that I'm really excited about called Sprinkles Creative. That's a new thing on the horizon, which we'll get to later. But so, and then with food, so I grew up in the restaurant industry. My dad comes from a long line of really well-known restaurants here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Actually, it's funny. I just wrote his bio the other day for his new website, and which again is crazy. If anyone out there has ever worked with their parents, maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Honestly, it's really cool with working with my dad. Never thought I would say that, but I always followed him around, going to restaurants. I was always tagging along with my Game Boy playing Pokemon. He had introduced me to people and, hey, what's up? And so I never thought, like, growing up, oh, I'm going to be in the restaurant industry. I was like, no, that's my dad's thing. I'm just, his daughter. It's whatever. But now I find that it's very, not only lucrative, but it's just it's a really cool industry to be in. I love working with chefs. I've actually found as a vegan that you tell a chef, hey, try making some really unique dishes without dairy or eggs or meat, and they're like, ooh, I don't get to do that often. And a true chef likes to be challenged.
That's a challenge.
They like to be like, ooh, I can add this spice and this vegetable and try this, and it ends up being amazing more often than not. So that's really something I love to do, and I found that I jive really well with chefs. I mean, it's crazy. When I first met Chef Troy, fun fact, I met him when he was at Samson's Hot Dogs. But what's crazy is I brought my dad into V Eats when V Eats was first opening just for him to try it. And the second my dad walked in and like locked eyes with Troy, they were like, I know you. And I'm like, what? Turns out my dad trained Troy like as a server back in like 2002 at Rockfish Seafood Grill. Because one of the restaurants my dad owned. Yeah. So apparently I've known
and
Troy
he
since...
did speak about that too, Chef Troy.
Did he?
In the video that's going to be coming out. But go ahead.
I've known Troy since I was like 8 years old, which is crazy. He's probably one of the many people I met behind a Game Boy, because this was me every time I went to my dad's. I'm like playing Pokemon. I'm like, yeah, I don't care who you are. I'm playing Pokemon. That was my jam. So it's just crazy. I've always been surrounded by chefs. I've always been in that restaurant industry. which has been fun. And now I use it as a creative outlet. I get to work with chefs now that maybe don't understand veganism, but they understand food. They understand ingredients. And I can talk money to them. I can talk, portioning, revenue, restaurant build out, because I've seen it all. And it's been really cool. So I recently just came from an experience with my dad. Again, so I worked at D Magazine, right? That was another experience that I came from in my career. Did some really cool things with them. They allowed me to really flex my muscles in marketing, advertising, sales, journalism, strategic communications, which is all my education experience from UNT. It was my first job out of college. It was such a perfect job working in a cool environment like that. And I get to write about vegan stuff. The product that I sold was a new publication that I started with them called Dallas Innovates. Still going, still amazing. It was really cool that the branding behind Dallas Innovates was all purple. So it was fun to be kind of like a face for that. It just made sense. Everyone's like, did you dye your hair for this project? I'm like, no, it was already there. So it was meant to be. And so my dad essentially pulled me from Dallas Innovates, from D Magazine. He was like, come work with me on this new project. And I'm like, no, I don't want to work with my dad. That sounds terrible. He's like, let me just introduce you to the team. So I did. I met all the team, front burner restaurants, a lot of well-known restaurant concepts out of there, such as Velvet Taco, Twin Peaks, Ida Claire, Mexican Sugar, 60 Vines. A lot of people know those. So I met the team, fell in love with it, and the project sounded pretty cool, pretty innovative, which, again, I only really like to work on projects that are new. I'm very much a business development person. There's something about starting something that nobody else has done before. Every job I've ever had, I've never filled someone else's role. I've created the role for myself. And that's something that I love. It's the newness. It's the paving a trail.
Legacy West, didn't you? I remember you talked about like you helped them like create menus, like vegan menus. That I would imagine that's a new.
Oh yeah,
that was a new thing, right? I don't think they had somebody in there doing that prior, right?
So Legacy Hall is all built out of mom and pop shops. They have a brick and mortar somewhere in DFW. These are highly curated food concepts, essentially. So basically, it was the best of the best. Burgers, tacos, pizza, seafood, sweets, Chinese food, whatever, you name it. So it was all representative of whatever flavor or culture or cuisine that you're looking for. The idea is that we'd have food for everyone. So our slogan was food for all, drink for all. So the concept at Legacy Hall, when we were building it, so again, Legacy Hall did not exist. It was literally a project that I came in on at blueprint stage. And I got to see its full construction and execution and just really coming alive, being a part of the ground floor team, which was so cool to be a part of. So working with these chefs and getting their menus ready and taking photos for them and videos and helping them with their branding and social media, I asked them, how can we say that we have food for all if there is not a vegan option on your menu? You're going to be turning away a large target audience that is growing by the numbers. Not only that, but I mean, so many people have dairy intolerance, or they're allergic to eggs, or, there's some people that are cutting out meat. You have to have a vegan option. I mean, it's 2018. What are you doing? And so really got to help them with recipe testing, suggesting ingredient swaps just to make an easy fix. Like if something simple, I'll never forget our quesadilla concept. I told them, hey, why don't you make a quesadilla, sub out the cheese and put in avocado, and then just, basically make your veggie quesadillas, but make it vegan by making that switch. I'm not telling you to totally buy vegan cheese. Right. If you really want to save on costs, just sub it out with avocado. That way you have the creaminess. They're like, what a brilliant idea. That's so great. And they did, and it sold well. And it was delicious, and so that's me bringing in my vegan expertise. I'm no cook by any means.
How many restaurants is in there?
24.
So it's 24.
Yep.
And so they gave you the opportunity of meeting with each of those places?
No, I just did it.
Talk about taking the bull by the horn.
Oh, I told you. Veganism is at the heart and soul of everything I do. It's like the foundation of my career, my personal life, romantic life, whatever you want to call it, everything, because it's so ingrained in me. I feel like I was honestly born to be vegan for many reasons. I think we kind of got into it in the last documentary. But this is something, again, that I feel like I was born with, so I need to share it any way that I can. I'm never going to be obnoxious about it. I'm never going to be in people's faces. I'm not going to shove anything down people's throats. I'm just going to live by inspiration and provide whatever insightfulness or options as I can. So with all these chefs, I was like, hey, you could just tweak this a little bit and it would be vegan and delicious. Or even little things, like I remember our cupcake vendor at the food hall, they were like, we're not selling so well on this vegan cupcake. And I'm like, take off vegan. Don't tell anyone it's vegan. Because if they are vegan, they will ask if you have vegan options. And then that's when you can point to your Oreo ganache cupcake, right? But if it's regular people, they'll be like,
the word dairy free,
anything.
These are things that they see regularly at the supermarket, dairy free,
exactly.
Free.
If people are gluten free,
if you slap vegan on it, it gets a little
if
weird.
they really have an intolerance, they're going to ask. But if people are just like, ooh, that's an Oreo ganache cupcake, I want that. Guess what? It's vegan. And they're already done eating it. They're like, it's vegan. It didn't even taste vegan. Of course it didn't taste vegan. What do you think it's going to taste like? Kale cupcake? What? No. Stuff like that I think is so fun. And then guess what? They were like, hey, thanks for the suggestion, not putting vegan on there. We've been selling out. I'm like, yeah. And that's again coming from my restaurant experience or my marketing experience, but also putting in the vegan tie into it. I think it's so true. And it's so cool too when you talk to entrepreneurs. These chefs are all entrepreneurs. They're building this cool concept in this innovative food venue. When you talk money to them and you're saying, hey, you're turning away a lot of money by not having a vegan option, they're like, money? Oh, okay. I'll have a vegan option for some money. More revenue. Heck yeah, let's bring on this target audience. You saying vegans have money? I would love to have that. So that's been really cool to be a part of. And there's a full list on Legacy Food Hall's website that has all of my vegan options that I helped create. And you see my picture on there. It's really cool. So
that's awesome.
I'm so happy I had the opportunity to do that. And that was my legacy, you could say, that I had at Legacy Hall, which again is so amazing. I was there for a little over a year. Really enjoyed my time there. I did some event planning. I did some, obviously, vegan infiltration. Did some really cool social media stuff, and really loved helping build that community. That there's no doubt that we build something from nothing out there. I mean, it was honestly a farmland right before that whole construction of Legacy West came in, and it just blew up in such a beautiful way. And I actually just parted ways with them yesterday. It was a hard decision. I will say it was very bittersweet, but it's one of those things you just know.
You have to know.
I did what I needed to do here. And now I'm done. My time has come. I feel content with the work that I put in. I left my mark on it. I left on a great note. No bridges burned. Nothing but friends and memories. And that's so special to me. Did I get a little teary-eyed when I left? Of course. But in a good way. It wasn't like, oh, this was so awful. No, not at all. It was amazing. That's why I got teary-eyed. I'm like, what a cool experience that I got to be a part of.
I'm sure you still go by there. I don't see why not. So I'm sure you'll still see people.
I'm going to do nothing but support them. I want that place to grow and thrive. Again, it's such a cool concept.
And they have a stage now that they built.
Awesome concerts. They pack that place out. It's so cool. I mean, not only is it, you get a lot of great vegan options there, but they're really about sustainability. They're all about supporting local, supporting community, mom and pop shops, people's missions, heart and soul. I mean, it's like an incubator for these chefs to really thrive. There's a brewery that they brew their own beer there. I mean, just so many elements that I'm like, wow, what a cool thing I got to work behind the scenes on, and in front of the scenes, however you want to call it. I mean, they let me do their media spots. That was so cool, to be a part of that. One thing my dad always calls me is he calls me a ham because I've never been shy. For some reason, one of the biggest things, I think, again, that's all my energy. I'm just like, hey, world. for some reason, one of the number one fears of humans is to do public speaking. Pff, not me. I'm like, give me the mic. What do you want me to say? Hey guys, how are you? I love it. I love being in front of people. I love talking in front of big crowds. I love being on TV. I guess I am a ham, which is not a vegan term. I don't know where that came from. Ham. Or cheesy. It's like, what is up with this dairy and meat? Why are we cheesy and hammy? I don't understand. But yes, I love it.
Let me ask you this, because usually there's any type of success that you have in life, usually there's a road to get there, and usually that road can come with criticism somewhere along the way, or downs along the way. What type of criticism, if any, that you get from, and I'll break it down, in terms of your approach to veganism and the impact, the way you go about it, right? Yeah. Where you say to yourself, I'm going to talk to the chefs, I'm going to talk to the restaurant. Like, you're taking it in a roundabout way that most people don't look at it that way. They rather just kind of, riot. I mean, not say riot, but like, they much rather force the issue a different way. I'll put it like that, in terms of like protesting, or they just go about it a totally different way. Do you get any criticism from, whether on social media or just people that that kind of feel like, well, why are you doing it like that? You should be doing it this way, or your heart should be in this direction, or your focus should be in that direction. Do you get any of that?
I don't get a ton, but I definitely have gotten some. And to them, I just say, look, to each his own. If that's what you find is fulfilling your soul and you see success from that, that's great. I'm not going to tell you to stop. I just don't find that it's successful. And I don't find that I'm being fulfilled that way, because I believe, and I have seen, that people don't really like to be yelled at. Mm-hmm. People don't really like to be told that they're doing something wrong. Even if I believe that they are doing something wrong, I'm not going to slap it in their face. If they ask me, hey, am I doing this wrong? And I say, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't eat meat or dairy. Then I'll give them suggestions, like, what's your call to action? Like, yeah, you're doing it wrong, but here's how you can tweak it to make it a little bit better. Again, I'm way too positive for my own good. So I'm going to be nice about it. I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to offer suggestions. By no means am I going to say the word, you should be doing this. I'm going to say, you could do it this way. Like, oh, I found this to be really fun. Mm-hmm. Or this is how I do it, and you're welcome to try, or I can make it for you, or whatever it is. I found that that's way more successful in being a human about it and allowing people to take baby steps, as opposed to going cold turkey, or what we like to call cold tofu, towards the vegan lifestyle, because that's just not how a lot of people work. I mean, we're just not built like that. We can't just flip a switch. Some people can, and more power to them, but I certainly didn't. I started to even think about going vegetarian at 13. Again, in your documentary, I went more on that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't go full on. I mean, it took me years to fully go vegan. Did I want to go vegan at the time? Sure. I mean, I didn't really know much about it at 13 years old. But I just didn't have the tools or the resources or the means to do so. And that's life, Mm-hmm. So you got to give people the time to just really settle in it, do the research, try out different recipes, try out different styles of clothes, I mean, just there's so many different things. And I just find that protesting or yelling or waving signs in people's faces is just not realistic. Mm-hmm. And it's just not nice. And it's not fun. Mm-hmm. And I'm fun and I'm nice, so I'm going to do it that way.
Yeah, no, I'm one of those people who went cold tofu when I went to... But what was interesting about it is that I'm also one of those people who, right before that, said that I would never go vegan because I couldn't give up cheese and I couldn't give up pizza. Living in New York, we got some really good pizza. I used to have the spots. So it was like, I can't give up that. And dairy is the most addictive thing, obviously, in knowing it after the fact. I'm like, that's why I couldn't give it up, because it's like, it has that addictive traits inside of it. But I'm like, once I decided to make the move, I was one of those people in the beginning. I was like, man, I want everybody to know. And I went about it a certain way. And it's like, I told all my friends, my family, and I'm trying to be pushy and shove it. And then I literally just got to a point where it was just like, just chill, man. You know what I mean? It's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, people are I had to say to myself, like, but I didn't get to where I'm at because somebody was pushy towards me.
Yeah.
So I can't in turn feel like I need to force the issue with other people. I can be a resource, you know, I can offer information if necessary.
Sure.
But I said, let me see if I carry myself a certain way, and if anybody wants to know, then I'll share the information.
Yep.
And lo and behold, I was able to, most of the people around me who have tried it, or just is more open to it. I'll put it like that. More open to who's never experienced it before. Like I showed them new restaurants. Like I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to find a way to merge this lifestyle with my life. I'm not going to eliminate my friends or previous people to adapt. Like I'm not going to make it I had to choose this.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, how can I bring this lifestyle here and essentially merge everything together? So it became, I'm going to find the best restaurants in New York. And I literally went on, like, I made it a journey. I said, okay, which spots have the best vegan pizza? Mm-hmm. And I would go and I would try. So it became fun for me because it was like everything that I liked prior to being vegan, I said, I need to find the alternative. So I started finding diners, right? Because before it was IHOP and Waffle House and all those other things. Same. So I'm like, okay, I got to find an alternative. And so I found this place called Champ's Diner, which you got to check out because I know you're going to New York.
You know I've been.
Okay,
that's
cool.
That's quite possibly, no offense to any of the spots in Dallas, but I think that's my favorite vegan restaurant I've ever tried. And I've traveled quite a bit and I've been to many vegan restaurants. Champ's, like, it's one of those places where it's like, just roll me out of here. I can't even move.
Champ's Diner.
I don't care. I'm stuffed.
Dunwell Donuts is not too far from there.
I've been there too. So good.
I know all the Cinnamon Snail.
Little Chocolate Apothecary. Oh my God. Did you go there?
Yes. I mean,
next level.
Everything. So I literally made it, and it was fun for me because it was like I'd be with friends and I'd be like, all right, come with me. We're gonna try over here. And I remember I used to take a lot of my friends to this spot called Veggie Castle. It's in Queens. You should check out Veggie Castle. I've
seen pictures. It looks insane.
Listen, because see, the thing is, I have a Caribbean background.
Nice.
And so that's why it's difficult in making this transition for a lot of people to understand, because they're saying to themselves, like, a lot of the seasonings, like, people, we like flavor.
Of course.
And so we're like, how are you able to do that when you don't have the meat, where usually you'd season the meat and get the flavor? So I wanted to find something for all my friends who are Caribbean, who, you know, they love their oxtails and things like that. And I'm like, come meet a Veggie Castle, which is actually owned by Guyanese people. Perfect. And they literally, like, all the foods, I'm telling you, like, you should check it out. All the foods that we're accustomed to, mac and cheese, chicken, you know, barbecue chicken, which is literally like, it's seasoned soy, but it's on like a little stick.
Love it.
So it gives you like that chicken, like that. It's the food is amazing there. But I love where they have it, because they have it literally in, I'm just gonna call it, it's in the hood. And so it's like
good.
It used to make me feel good when I would go there and I would see that it's packed. Yep. So I'm saying to myself, okay, I know for a fact all these people coming in here, they're not all vegan. That's a fact.
It's because they're being accessible.
Exactly.
Just
it's there. Give them an option. Yeah. Give them an option. Let them choose. At the end of the day, I believe people are going to just eat good food. And if you just so happen that this food is better for you than the other, 9 out of 10 times they're going to go with the one that's better for them. But you have to give them an option. If you don't give them an option, they're going to choose the McDonald's, the KFC, because it's there.
Yeah.
And what's the alternative? There's no alternative. So, yeah, when you go to New York, you're going to see, I'm sure, a lot of...
I'm going.
That's one thing that I miss. Somebody asked me, what do you miss? I'm like, although it's growing here.
Definitely.
And it's a lot more than I expected, right? I didn't think that it would be what it is here.
Right.
I'm like, man, I was in a groove when I was in... like, I knew it like the back of my hand.
Yep.
The back of my head. So
it's growing here, and that's funny you say that too, because I've had a pull to move out of Texas. I've lived here my whole life. I've traveled a ton, so it's not like I haven't left. I've definitely got my taste of other cultures and people and walks of life outside of Texas for sure. But if anything, that's made me just itch to get out. Now then, is there anything wrong with Texas? No. I mean, the economy is great, cost of living, job opportunities. I honestly love the heat. I really do. I love it. I'm cold all the time. I joke and tell people I'm a walking freezer. I really am. You shake my hand and I'm like, oh my God, are you dead? Yes. Clearly. I'm just cold all the time. So when it's summer, everyone's like, oh, it's so hot. I'm like out there baking, like, cook me. It's bad. But now then, I would love to live up north. It's not warm. So that's one thing. But it stinks. I've been pulled in different directions lately to live somewhere else just to try it. Why not? Try it for a year. I don't have one hard set place I'd like to go, but I will say, the more people I tell that I want to live somewhere else, they're like, no, we need you here in Dallas. Please don't leave. I'm like, which, in a way, and I'm flattered, obviously, but I see that I am needed because the vegan community is growing, and I know I have an impact on that, and I don't think that's wrong of me to have the confidence to say that. I do. I have an impact, and I see it, and I'm thankful for it, again, because it means that I'm doing something right. And I know I should stay. And it's funny because I am getting more and more opportunities and reasons to stay, and it's almost frustrating. I'm like, just let me go to Portland or Seattle or something. But, they got their vegan scene up there.
I'll tell you a quote. I'll tell you a quote that I read today, and I tweeted about it, and it just reminds me what you said. It's apropos for this. It's go where there is no path and create a trail.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was like, man, that's so powerful, because it had me thinking. Because it's one of the reasons why even I came to Dallas, because people ask me, because I come from New York, it's like there's so much going on, and I'm like, they're like, why come over here? It's like, what's going on? But I said to myself that I'd rather go somewhere where it's not there, and create it. I feel like that's the challenge, than to go somewhere where everybody is doing the same thing.
Saturated.
I hear a lot about like California but it's like most of the people who go there is trying to get into acting, trying to get into music, they're trying to modeling. Like it's the same group of people there. And I'm saying to myself, if I would movies, whatever you name, entertainment, just entertainment in general. So it's like, okay, you go there and it's like, all right, you're battling amongst hundreds of people, different talents, and it's like, it's obviously, I mean, if you believe in yourself, I'm sure you can make it, but it's like, now you have to compete, and then what happens is that now you start to follow a trend, right? You're like, okay, that's what's working for that person, I got to do the same thing. When you go somewhere where it's a blank slate, right? It's like, okay, so now make something out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than going to a ready-made situation or something that's already in motion, it's like, can you create something where there's nothing there?
Yep. So. I've got to tell you, it's funny you say that, because I just had a long conversation with someone yesterday about this. That's been my whole life. So it just so happens that obviously I'm born in Texas, and it's kind of frustrating. So I'm like, oh, it'd be cooler maybe if I was like born in California and then I came to Texas. Like, your story is cool. Like, you came from New York. But I'm just like, but I've been here my whole life. But that being said, without going into too much detail, I love my family. They're amazing. But let's just say, at a very young age, I knew I didn't want to be like them. So I saw the path that they created for themselves, and it was just a sea of sameness, I guess you could say. It was same old, same old. They all kind of did the same thing. Got similar jobs, didn't pursue a further education, got married at a young age, had kids at a young age, and just kind of did the same old thing. And didn't have terrible lives, but it was just mediocre. And it's crazy. Again, I really truly believe that I was born with something extra. I'm so extra. But I was born with something, and I knew, I don't even know when I could tell you when I first realized it, but I knew at a young age that I'm going to be different. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to be different. And I'm seeing my family do this life, and I don't want any of that. So I'm going to go over here and pave out this path for myself. I don't know where it's going to go, but I just know that I have to do this. I can't do that, and I don't know where this goes, but I'm going to go this way. And I actually read a book called The Road Less Traveled, and that really helped me to realize.
I got that book.
Yeah, it's good. Realize that that's the road I want to go on, less traveled, or in my case, not traveled at all for my family. So I did it. I went to college, paid my own way, didn't get married young, didn't have kids. I'm the only one in my family. And do they think I'm weird? Of course. They've always thought I was weird. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. Never have. not interested because I saw where it led to, and I didn't want to go that way. So it's funny. Peer pressure was never a thing for me because, again, I was so
just
driven.
clear. So no alcohol, even socially. So when you're going out, no, that's cool. I respect that. Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It's not my thing. Water's cool. Mm-hmm. I get good people watching out of it.
Virgin margaritas,
right? I'm the built-in DD.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm sure drinks are fun. I'm sure it's cool, but I'm too set on my future. I've got a big plan. I want to change the world, and I can't be bogged down with any distractions. Mm-hmm. And so if I made this commitment to myself, again, at a very young age, and I'm a very committed person, so I'm going to stick with it. And I haven't strayed from the path. 25 years old, and here I am, still doing it. And I feel like I've only scratched the surface. And yeah, I've done a lot so far, but man, I've got a lot to do. Mm-hmm. But every day I get up and I'm so excited to do it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how tired I am or sore or anything. I mean, I just find myself and I always point to my gut when I say this, but it's almost like I have this pulling, like this, like, you gotta go. Mm-hmm. You gotta go fulfill your destiny. Mm-hmm. And I love that I have that drive. People have told me, like, it's so amazing, your drive. And I'm like, yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't really think about it. It's just kind of there, and I just let it guide me. And so far, it's got to be some pretty cool people and opportunities, and I'm always so excited where it's going to take me next. I mean, I have left my full-time, secure, steady job that I really did have fun working on, and it was such a cool experience, and I could have stayed longer. But I've got so much else to do. Mm-hmm. I did my time there, and I felt like I made an impact in the direction that I wanted to. It helped me build my brand for sure, which I needed. My skills, my experience, it was all part of the plan. But now this new step is so exciting.
And I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship in general, there are things that are exciting about it. There are things that are daunting, right? That can be. What excites you the most about this next chapter for you, and what maybe concerns you, or what are some things that you know you still have to work on?
Yeah, the most exciting part is something that I mentioned earlier that I love to do. I'm a builder. Mm-hmm. I like to build new things, and the fact that I get to be my own boss. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, I have this thing in me that drives me, and it call it my gut. It just tells me what I need to do, and I'm fairly decent with time management, and I'm able to work on all the spinning plates and the projects at once, and it's so cool. All the people recently in the past couple months that have approached me to help them work on cool projects, and they're all aligned with my mission. They're all vegan related. They're all sustainable related. They're all local community, education, marketing related. Things that I am just so pumped to get up in the morning and start working on. And I found myself more excited to do those projects, but not having enough hours in the day because I had a full-time job.
Right.
So it just came to my attention that I had to cut off my full-time job so I could pursue these other opportunities. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I can't wake up 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and ask myself, what if? I can't. I have to do this right now. I have to pursue it. And I've even had people my whole life really tell me that, Courtney, I don't think you were meant to work for someone else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think so either. I got to do this for myself. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly,
you have to.
Not being overconfident, but I have to do this for myself, and I have to do this for the greater good. Mm-hmm. I really believe that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every entrepreneur or leader or business owner or whatever you want to call them, any successful person needs to ask themselves this: what am I doing for the world, or what can I do for the world? Mm-hmm. If I just give it my all and put all of my attention and focus into it, how great could I be? Mm-hmm. You could be so great. And that's what I had to ask myself. I mean, you can get very literal with it. I really looked myself in the mirror and took a long, hard look at my soul and everything I wanted. And I was just like, I have to do this. This is for the greater good. Not just for my life, but I'm going to have an impact on the animals, the environment, people's lives, people's health. I mean, so many things. So why not just cut all ties and just go forward? And it's crazy too, because here I am, not tied to a relationship, not tied to a full-time job, kind of tied to a city, I guess. I'm still here in Texas, living in Plano.
Oh, you got a lot of time on your hands now.
Yeah. So I am, it's funny because I have a lot. It's funny you say I have a lot of time. I find myself almost more busy now that I don't have a full-time job. And I have all these commitments and projects that I'm working on. But again, so excited to get started on them. Everyone's like, wow, you're going to have so much time to hang out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Can you hang out next month? Because I'm booked for the rest of August.
Yeah, it's hard. Trust me. When I made that transition, first thing I tell people is, man, it's hard. Adjusting. You have to adjust.
Yeah.
You're so used to getting up at a certain time, going to sleep at a certain time, being told, when to go on vacation, when to use the bathroom. It's just you're being told, right? And then you also get that proverbial pat on the back in the form of a raise or just some sort of recognition in the office or whatever. And those are the things that you work towards. But now, once you start doing things on your own, I'm sure there are times where you're working so hard behind the scenes on things that people, they see the final result, they see you get there, but they don't know about your preparation, and you don't get that pat on the back when you're doing the preparation. The behind the scenes part, and you got to get used to that, right?
Of course.
It's like, okay, I got to do the research on my own. I got to spend 8 hours, 9 hours networking or whatever it is. And you're not getting that the next day, here's Courtney's face on the wall as employee of the week or employee. So, and a lot of people need that push. So you got to push yourself. So it has to be something that you want to do, that you're passionate about.
Right.
Because you don't have somebody there to tell you, oh, you did a good job. You made the most sales last week. And you feel like, oh, okay, I'm doing something with myself. No, the results might be way down the line.
That's okay. As long as I'm able to be fulfilled spiritually. And again, if I can go to sleep at night knowing that I'm making a difference, then that's all I need. It is. And I know it's one of those things. So something that's kind of a new concept for me. I've always been very, it's funny. I tell people this all the time. I'm very much an old woman stuck in a young person's body. I'm serious.
I get that too. An old soul. That's what they say.
Bad. I'm such an old soul. I mean, it helps that I was raised by an old woman. I was raised by my grandmother mostly. My parents were around, but it's just my grandmother was almost like my second mom. I mean, she really raised me. So I grew up on black and white movies and old westerns and listening to Etta James. And I mean, like, I'm an old soul. Like, people are very surprised, like, you know this song? You know whatever? Like, yeah, I'm an old woman. So I've always been very money conscious. I'm very much penny pincher, whatever you want to call it. Just financially mindful, which a lot of people are like, dang, that's actually a really good thing. It is. I mean, I'm good at saving. I always think about that. But on the other end, there is something that in the last year or so has come to my attention, and that's the abundance mindset, right? So that's something that's really hit me sideways. I got to be honest. You would think someone like me, who's very positive and optimistic and all these great, happy things, would be like, oh yeah, abundance, that's my life. Well, on the contrary, since I am very money heavy, and again, this comes from my family situation, we didn't really have a ton of money. We weren't poor, but I just saw a perpetual lifestyle of really not having much. It would just kind of be in that, middle class, mediocre. And so at a young age, I was like, I have to be very conscious of my money. I have to save, and I can't go crazy and whatever. And so oftentimes I would penny pinch when maybe I didn't need to, or, and so having an abundance mindset is realizing, and I can say I have it now. Do I have it to the full capacity? No, I'm sure people get it more than I do. That's been living it for years. I'm very new to it still, but the hardest part about leaving my full-time job and this like stream of income that has been so great for me to go pursue an entrepreneur lifestyle, which is not necessarily always the same stream of income all the time, right? Is that the money will come. it's going to come. I know it. Can I say when? Can I say from where? No, I can't, to be honest. But that's really exciting. That I can have whatever I want. I have to work hard for it. I have to put in the time and the effort and the energy. But guess what? I have that. I have the energy. I have the time. I have the effort. The passion's certainly there. So, with all of that being said, knowing where my heart's at and where my work ethic is, I know the money's going to come. And that's what made me do it. And that's another thing where I have spent the time looking myself in the mirror, both figuratively and actually, and asking myself, do I really believe in this? Can I really make this happen? Do I really believe in myself to make it happen? Yes, I do. And that's why this is the right move. And that's why I'm just like, the money's going to come and you're never going to guess. The past couple of weeks, ever since I put in my 2 weeks notice at my job, left and right meetings, signing contracts, booking deals, getting cool opportunities to go on free trips to places that I want to go and do work that I would do for free, quite frankly, because it's so exciting and exactly what I love. And that's just because I released my mind to think that the money's going to come. Living that abundant lifestyle, which again, it was very hard to wrap my head around. I'll actually give credit to Zach there because he's the one that actually told me about that. And it was very hard for me to grasp because I'm like, no, but we need a penny pinch and all these things. Well, no, I flipped the switch and realized that it's there. The money's there for the taking. There's no doubt. And I am worth it. And I can do it. So here we go.
No, I definitely see exciting things for you. You know, speaking arrangements, I'm sure will come your way. One thing I'll tell you that I've learned recently, too, is that especially as you get more success and you're out there, is try to find a product or something to sell, right? Because it's about passive income. You don't want to exchange monetary money for service. Because essentially it becomes just like the 9 to 5 that you left, right? You were there from 9 to 5. They paid you. Once 5 o'clock stopped, no more money was coming in. Yeah. You want to try to convert. And these are things that hopefully you can think about. And these are steps, something to work towards. That's what I'm saying. But you want to try to create products that you can sell because this way, when you're not working, right? When there's not a contract there, that there's something behind the scenes that's being sold, i.e., for example, a book, which is something that I had a previous guest on who wrote a book. Cool. And I wanted to see what is the process like, because I was so intimidated by the process of writing a book. I'm saying, okay, do you have to be an English major, or do you have to, that whole process was just so intimidating. Like she has it on Amazon. I'm legit. She has audiobooks, awesome. Like legit. And so I started telling her like, well, these are the ideas that I have, but I'm like, but hearing how she was able to take the fact that she's traveled to different countries and was able to take those experiences and turn it into a book, a tangible book that's in my hand. To me, I feel is a great accomplishment. So I started thinking of some of the things that I wanted to express in a book that I feel could help other people. And so I'm on that path right now. And so I would tell you that, if you can come up with other products or other services that can be working in the background while you're doing other things, that's essentially how you can really truly be free, right? Because if it's always a service for money, then what's going to happen is, your time becomes even more limited because whoever's going to pay you X amount of money is going to take up more of your time, which would take you away from the other things. Right. But if you have other things in motion that's being sold in the background, which again, some people do books, some people do, what else do they come up with? Like in terms of their website, they'll offer certain courses, certain, just whatever the information is, they find a way to package it. So
I already have one. That's another thing I was going to talk about.
What you got?
Oh, it's so exciting. I can talk about it. It's still in beta. I'm really excited. This has been such a cool project. I actually had a long talk with, I guess you can call him my partner. But so I'm working on a project that, man, talk about a project that makes you sleep at night because you're really changing lives. It's called Fix, Fixe. So it's a Meals on Wheels meets Blue Apron. So you know how Blue Apron works in the way of you choose whatever meal for two. Maybe you're gluten-free, maybe you're vegetarian. They don't have a vegan. They have vegetarian. And there's other ones that have vegan, like HelloFresh, and, you know, the list goes on. It's basically, they only send you the exact produce you need to create those 3 dishes for the week, right? And no more, no less. There's no waste. They give you the recipes. They give you all the instructions. So you're learning a new skill. You're learning how to, cook a particular dish. You're doing something active for yourself and for your health, and not wasting anything, which is awesome. And so it's a really great service. It's on the pricier end. I don't know if you've tried Blue Apron, but I'm sure a ton of people have heard of it. It's a little bit pricey, but it still really is a cool concept. I've done it. I've done a lot of the different packages. Like I said, I've done HelloFresh and Blue Apron and Purple Carrot and all those others. Really cool companies. So an all-around concept. And Meals on Wheels is a nonprofit, particularly for the elderly. So people that obviously cannot cook for themselves because they just don't have the energy. They don't have the wherewithal. They can't even walk very much. So Meals on Wheels makes these meals for people, pre-packages them. They're already cooked. Pretty much all they have to do is pop in the oven or in their microwave, and they're good to go. You know, they don't have to worry about...
I never thought of that.
Yeah, so Meals on Wheels has been around for a long time. They're kind of not so well known, I guess, because it is like a government-funded program. It's a nonprofit, but still really cool concept to help the elderly. So what we're doing... and this is not my concept. I've actually known my partner, Josh. His name's Joshua Strom-Yellow. I know him through the entrepreneur kind of startup community in Dallas. I actually met him at a networking event that I went to for D Magazine when I was really going out and selling Dallas Innovates. And him and I instantly connected because he's just the doer. He's a really creative guy, comes from a law background. He has his law degree. And he's just a startup guy. He's a builder like me. He builds really cool, exciting projects, sees them come to full fruition, sells them, and then moves on to another project, what you call a serial entrepreneur. Kind of like me in a way. But he reached out to me for this endeavor because, and, you know, we've stayed in contact over the 3 years that I've known him, and he reached out to me knowing that I'm a very advocate, or a very, vocal vegan. And so he was like, I have a project for you and I would love to team up with you on this. So as a vegan who's not only passionate about it, you live it out with your full lifestyle, not just the way you eat, but the way you cook and wear clothes and everything. So how would you like it if you worked on this project with us? We are offering multiple types of meal plans for people. So 7-day, 14-day, 21-day. We have a paleo, we have a gluten-free, we have a keto, but we need a plant-based, we need a vegan. How would you like to write our meal plan and be the face of our vegan outreach? And I'm like,
that's a big opportunity.
Yes, because not only is this Meals on Wheels meets Blue Apron, but what we're really trying to do is give meals to people that are low-income families or single parents or just people that are just recently homeless or something. They're just in dire need of not only food but healthy food. So this is not just like feeding the hungry, but these are people that are in need of actual sustainable food, working on their diet, working on their health, feeding their families, quality ingredients. We are working to cut cost to provide the same service as Blue Apron, but for a certain demographic that needs it. Not just the people that are, they got a lot of income and they're just looking to create some meals at home, which is still a really cool, like I said, super cool concept, but this is for a particular need that we need to address. And there's so much more involved. There's even like a Tom Shoe element, like get a meal, give a meal. You have that opportunity to really pay it forward, to give people meals that really can't afford it, but maybe you have a little bit of extra income and you can provide this service for this family. Again, it's all delivered to people's houses. We're not just doing this in Texas, we're doing it all over. The website has been up for 2 weeks now, and we've already sold, I think, 150 meals.
Wow.
In 2 months, we have a projection of selling 1,000. Really cool,
That's
exciting
awesome.
project. The plant-based one I'm still working on. I've already created the 7-day program. I'm working on the 14-day one right now. And it's a really, really cool project because we're teaming up. I mean, it's a little bit of nonprofit. It's a little bit of obviously for profit. I will be making a profit off of this, and talk about residual income. Not only is this going to be, just flowing in from the work that I'm doing up front, creating this meal plan, it's going to be continuing on as more and more people buy it. But the testimonials that we're reading from people already are just killer. I mean, obviously, wow, these meals are so good. I'm so happy to learn a new skill, and I'm so happy to feed my family actually healthy food, because we're doing everything in our power to cut down the costs, and we're also looking to partner with the Wix program to make these meals, again, cheaper costs for people so they can actually access these quality, fast, easy recipes to really make a difference in their families' lives or in their personal health. And so that's a project that I'm so happy that I got asked to be a part of. So that's to your point, something that I'm excited to just have almost as residual income. But really what it is making me feel like I'm making a difference, which is why I feel like I'm living. It's to try to make a difference in everyone's lives. And this is a big impact for people that I can't physically see maybe or talk to, that I will be making a difference. And if I can turn these people on to plant-based eating and show them that it's easy and accessible and delicious and sustainable, then sure, I'm going to do all the work I can to make it happen.
Are there any vegan influencers that you look up to or that you take a lot of inspiration from?
A lot, yeah. The one in particular, and I actually got a chance to meet her last year, which was really cool for me. She helped me go vegan, in college when I was really, really dabbling into it, because I was mostly vegetarian in high school. And it's funny because I don't really like when people say mostly vegetarian. I'm like, what does that mean? But I was mostly vegetarian in high school. Yes, I did eat some fish here and there, and it was one of those things where I thought I had to, because everyone was telling me I had to. And it wasn't until college where I was like, what the heck? I can make my own decisions. I can buy my own groceries, and I can be vegan if I want to. And so I did. But the recipes that I really dove into was Chocolate Covered Katie. So really great website. I found her blog, I guess just Googling vegan at the time, and found that she lived in Texas. She doesn't live in Texas anymore, but she did back then. And her recipes were super easy, which is something I needed because I never learned how to cook growing up. And I just never even cared to learn how to cook. It was one of those things I was like, whatever, food is food. And obviously, growing up in the restaurant industry, I always had people cooking for me. I never even thought about cooking. I was like, oh, just go out to eat. Who cares? I'm always in restaurants. So I found her blog, and I have a hardcore sweet tooth, I have Everyone's like, what's your vice? You don't drink, you don't smoke, and you're vegan. What's your vice? I'm like, cookies, ice cream, cake.
So what's that, Riviere? what's the spot? Riviere Bakery? Reverie.
Yes.
And then what's the other popular one?
I mean, Spiral has a lot of bakery stuff.
But the what's the Cinnaholic?
Cinnaholic.
Oh yeah, I remember I brought some. You ate that up, huh?
Oh, how could you not? You put that in front of me, I'm like, oh yes, going to town. Yeah, I have a sweet tooth for sure. Always have. And that was actually my last thing to give up before switching to fully vegan was ice cream. But then I found Nadamu, based out of Austin, Texas, by the way. Met the owner at the state fair, at the Texas State Fair. Just totally changed my life. I was like, dang, vegan ice cream is delicious, and I don't.
Speaking of the state fair, are you going to the next one?
Oh yeah,
I think it was in October usually.
That's a veggie fair.
That's
the
veggie fair.
Yeah, but I met him at the state fair because Nadamu is a Go Texan brand, and so he was the only vegan vendor there at the time. There's a certain pavilion that they had all of the Go Texan brands at, and I just walked up to him like, hey, I'm thinking about going vegan. Your ice cream is vegan. That's cool. I want to try some. And so it's coconut based, and I tried it, and I kid you not, I was like, no way, this is vegan. And yeah, ever since then, I did not turn back. I was like, okay, if the ice cream tastes bomb like this, then I have no reason not to be vegan. This is dumb. Like, I'm going vegan now. And that's kind of how I declared it. I didn't watch a documentary. I didn't talk to anybody. I was just like, I'm sold. If the ice cream's good, you got me. Because I never really liked meat. It was kind of gross. It always grossed me out. But it was the ice cream that I was like, oh, I need ice cream in my life. So yeah, I've always had a sweet tooth. And oh my gosh, I totally lost track of where I was going with that conversation.
So I know I want to talk a little bit more about the entrepreneur side, because I know you said working with your dad. So you got your working with your dad. Mm-hmm. You're establishing your own business, yep. Right? Because you mentioned Harvest Hands, but now you're doing your own thing.
Yep.
What would you say to people out there who they want to start things, but they don't really know like where to start, right? Like, so where does it begin with you, where you say, okay, I'm going to start here, and then it just becomes something else?
You have to ask yourself who you are. You really, in anything you do, even if it's like, oh, that guy's super cute and I want to date him. First of all, are you at a point where you can date? Are you at a point where you can look at yourself and feel good in your own skin? Do you love yourself? Can you hang out with yourself without feeling like you need to be with, around people? I mean, it needs to start at, who are you?
I agree.
What do you love? What are you on fire for? What do you can't stop thinking about? Do that. If you really love cooking, or you really love messing around with video or drawing or whatever. I mean, if you really find that you're doing that and you have a hobby, okay, well, have you ever thought about turning your hobby into a business? That could happen. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and something else that I'm going to be working on soon. I plan on announcing next week, but hey, I'll have to give it a scoop.
Exclusive. Built for Anything podcast exclusive.
I've always loved yoga. Really love.
I saw some photos you took.
Fell in love with acro yoga, which is not something that I ever thought that I would get into. Fun facts: I used to make fun of yogis. I was like, that is so dumb. Like, they're just stretching. That's not a workout. No, I mean, yoga has changed my life. Has gotten me more in tune with my body, with my breathing, with my mind. Just so many things in my life. It has revamped. And
what's acro yoga?
So it's acrobatic yoga. It's mostly a partner thing. A lot of slow movements, a lot of flipping and turning. It's not aggressive. It's very strategic, hand placement, and all about communication with your partner. And I'm not saying it has to be like a romantic partner. No, it's usually someone's the base and someone's the flyer. And so the base is usually the man and the flyer is usually a woman. Doesn't have to be. But it's usually, the stronger person's on the bottom. They typically a little bit, their weight's a little bit more, so they're the base, and so the flyer's a little bit lighter. But anyway, something that I fell in love with and I really loved, and I haven't done it in a long time, but I have recently been approached to be a part of the Dallas Fitness Ambassadors. And so really? I just created a partnership with Deep Ellum Yoga here in Deep Ellum. So we have a photo shoot.
It's not too far from here.
Down the street on Carter Street.
Right.
Yep. Really cool venue. I'm going to be one of their ambassadors. Starting Tuesday, we're going to be doing a photo shoot. I'm going to help them with some event planning. Going to help them really get their name out there, because it's something that I'm very passionate about. And something that I found I was doing in my off time. After work, I would go do a yoga class, do an acro class. Found that I love that community. I love those people. Great energy all around. Some people that I truly admire. And so I'm going to turn that into a business.
That's awesome.
A little, I mean, it's more of a passion project. Something that I'm like, I don't want to make tons of money off of this. I just want to do it because it's like I would spend money doing it anyway in my off time. So why not turn it into something that could be revenue generating while also making me feel good. So that's another thing. It's like, find the things that you love to do and just really maybe get a pen and paper and say, could I turn this into a business? Could I make this something bigger? Maybe start posting about it on social media and see what the feedback is. Or start talking to your friends about it, or start inviting your friends to it, and maybe talk to the studio that you go to if it's yoga or painting or pottery. I mean, it could be anything. And I think that's the first thing that I would ask people to do if they're wanting to be their own boss, be an entrepreneur, whether it's just a solo entrepreneur or you're starting a business with a whole team, whatever. Could you do it? Is it sustainable? Where would you get your revenue? Who's your target audience? There's a lot of questions, but it really starts with, do you love it? Because if you don't,
I agree.
It's not sustainable.
It's
agree. Not going to work.
I've had a lot of people ask me, like, how did you make the transition? And, you know, why did you choose this particular thing over that? And I always tell them, regardless of what it is that you want to do, you got to start with what is it that you would do for free, right? I always start off with that. I said, think about the things that you would do if there was no money involved, right? And usually people can rattle off a bunch of things, right? They're like, well, you know, I like doing this, I like doing that, I like doing this. And I said, okay. So now, once you find out the things that you enjoy doing, see how you could develop the skills necessary for you to be able to do them, and then hopefully monetize them, right? And so I agree with you. It definitely starts first with what is it that you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about something and it's just about the money, what happens when you, let's say you are successful making the money, what happens once you get there, right? How do you continue to push past it, right? Or the reverse, you're not getting the money right away. How do you push past it? You know, if you don't really want to do this, you don't really like this, but it's just to earn a certain amount of money, you're going to give up very easily. At the first sign of adversity, it's like, nah, forget this. Let me go do something else. And that's how you see a lot of people kind of shift along. Okay, no, I'm going to do this. Oh, it's not working. Do that. What do you like to do? You know what I mean? What is it that you believe in? Who, you know, the questions that you ask. And so, like, I even had a young guy ask me, like, you know, how do you... And I told him, I said, look, man, because he sounded like he had so much distractions. I said, go somewhere quiet, okay, whether it's your room or I told him even, you know, get out your city, go on a drive somewhere, go somewhere peaceful, just go somewhere quiet and just sit down, okay, like just clear your mind, just sit down.
Turn off your phone.
You know, turn off your phone. Yeah. Right. The same thing. I said, turn off your phone. So that I have to do sometimes. Right. And just really just think. Just think. Because it's usually it's in front of our face. Especially as you get older, like you're doing these things, but we just ignore it because we get into society and we get into that mold. But there are always things that we do as individuals that make us individuals. That if we just put in the effort, if we just acknowledge it, and then say, okay, let me try to manifest that. Let me try to work towards that.
It's everything.
You blow up. You know, being who you are.
And the brilliance of it is, even if it doesn't work out, at least you can say you tried. That's my biggest thing. I am not going to find myself, again, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, racking my brain like, oh, what if? No, I can look back and laugh. I mean, if it totally ends up to be a failure or something crazy ridiculous happens, at least I can just, like, shrug my shoulders like, at least I tried. Got it out of my system. I did it. Check. You know, I don't have to feel this longing for wondering what would have been if I just put my all into it. Regret. And that is so much more than money to me. At least lately I can say that I've been so fulfilled with the contentment of the effort that I put into it. And it's like that, I did that. And it was great. And maybe it didn't turn out to be, you know, financially fruitful, but that's okay. I mean, I felt good about it. So it's good for me.
No, I agree. And regret is a terrible, terrible thing. And I think me being around older people, I think that's a really great gift to be around older people and just kind of see, because they almost, I don't want to say a peek into the future, but it's like you can learn so much from the things people didn't do and that they wish that they did. And if you're fortunate enough to be around the right people to tell you, like, hey, sometimes I think we think we don't have the time, right? So when you see somebody that's, I don't know, 55, 60, whatever, let's say 20 years older than you, and you see where they are, it it puts things in perspective to you in terms of how much time you have.
For sure.
Right? Because I think we take that for granted. So I totally agree with you. We've been talking for so long.
Oh my gosh!
I told you it's gonna be easy.
I'm a talker. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to wrap this up right now.
Okay.
First of all, before we go, let people know once again where can they find you, and if there were things that you wanted to promote that you may have not mentioned, feel free to do that now.
So yeah, I'm going to post everything. I'm very active on social media, sometimes too much. I'm like, oh my gosh, get off your phone, Courtney. But Color Me Courtney _ I will say there is another Color Me Courtney, and she's killing it, but I'm not her. She's not vegan. She is very colorful. I have to give her that, but she doesn't have purple hair. So Color Me Courtney _ is me. And then I also post on Coffee with Courtney. That's about to blow up in a big way. I didn't get to go into much detail about that, but me and my partner, Carlos, are really working on some huge stuff, and I can't wait to announce that. That's going to be at the end of August, though, is when that stuff's going to go live. So Coffee with Courtney is about to get more active.
And that's the YouTube?
Yep. It's a YouTube channel, and it's an Instagram, and then it's about to be a podcast, too.
Okay.
So that's going to be really cool.
So not to jump in, but
good.
because I know you did hint to that.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're gonna make it a YouTube channel.
Yep.
Just really quick,
it already is a YouTube channel.
Okay, what's the context of what is it?
So not only am I very passionate about the craft of coffee, there's so much that goes into coffee, the chemistry behind it, the regional aspects. Okay. I mean the farmers that put their heart and soul into creating it. The roasting of the beans is a whole nother industry. I mean, there's so many things that I'm just like, God, I could nerd out about coffee forever. We could be on here 2 more hours, just me talking about coffee. I just love it. It was just funny. World. Fun fact, I didn't start drinking coffee until I was 21. Everyone's like, it was legal, right? I'm like, yes, I know it was legal. I just didn't really get into it until I was 21. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, on good timing. So awesome. I really talk about the community of coffee. And I say that because my true passion is coffee shops. I've made a point to go to every coffee shop in the Dallas-Fort Worth community, and I know all of the owners by name. I know all of the atmospheres, the vibe, the energy, their creative cocktail-like coffee, their unique nut milks that they use, or their roasters that they feature, or my favorite spot at each shop. When people ask me, what's your favorite coffee shop? I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have one. It's like picking my favorite child. I can't do that. But what I can say is, what are you looking for? Are you looking to have a meeting? Are you looking to put your head down and get lots of work done? Are you looking to read a book? Are you looking to see a open mic night? Are you looking to just take a breather? Do you want natural lighting, or do you want a dark, corner to just focus on? What are you looking for? Okay, so with Coffee with Courtney, I just want to talk about the community aspect, but also the entrepreneurial background of the coffee shop owner. Why did you open up this shop? Who are you looking to connect with? What community were you trying to build here? And how can I help shed light on that to get you exactly the type of clientele that you want? And I'm not just saying I'm going to send you so much money with my videos. No, I mean, I'm going to shed light on your mission here, your passion, because I'm passionate about it too. Again, I'm not going to have a favorite coffee shop. I don't have a favorite coffee shop. It all depends on the day, on the feeling. And so that's what my platform is really looking to do, is to just be awesome. The educator, to be the person shining light on it. I want it to be very journalistic, as that is my background. It's what I got my degree in. Very passionate about people and interviews and bringing out the hard questions, or the heart and soul, the human element out of business endeavors. And building a coffee shop is certainly one of those things. So, and while drinking delicious coffee.
That's awesome.
Win-win.
That's awesome.
So that's what Coffee with Courtney is going to do, and it's really going to take off. I know it. My videographer is just a artistic genius. Great ideas. I mean, this was actually his idea. Coffee with Courtney came from his brain. I did not think of it. He was just like, let's do this. And you're already passionate about coffee. You're already doing this in your personal platform. Why don't we turn it into a YouTube channel? Heck yeah. And so we did. It's been really awesome. So we already have...
I got to definitely subscribe.
Please. Sure. We already have 6 episodes that we did about a year and a half ago. We haven't done one since. because he had some projects come up. I had some projects come up. We haven't had a chance to go back into it, but we're diving deep in a big way. Things are going to change. If you go look at the videos currently, they're going to be similar, but they're going to be way better. Not to say those are bad, but we've evolved since then, right? Me and him, he's evolved in his artistic videography career. I've evolved in my journalistic, public figure or whatever you want to say career. And so we're going to blow it out. It's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to announce what the first episode's going to be. We already have the spot picked out. Already have everything. It's going to be great. So we film on August 27th. I will say that.
Okay.
So
I'd love to be a guest somewhere down the line.
Cool, exciting stuff. Oh yeah. I'll hit you up. So that's another one. Coffee with Courtney is going to be a huge passion point for me. Sprinkles Creative. It's my new team. Super excited to say digital marketing agency with a large vegan focus. Not all of our clients are vegan, but I will say that there's an underlying, as I mentioned, everything I do has an underlying vegan element. So we help them with everything digital marketing, social media, engagement, ads, photography, videography, you name it. It's super exciting, and my team is just, they're rock stars. Christina and Andrea, I'm super excited to say that we are the Vegan Girl Squad, killing it. So I'm so excited to go down that venture.
Shout out
with
to
them.
Andrea. She's actually in the background.
She is, and she's waving her arms like she just don't care.
She's awesome.
But no, we're gonna kill it, and they're already killing it. We've been team members for about 2 months now, and it's been such a fun ride. I know it's only gonna get better now that I'm full time. So that's gonna be cool. And Fix, obviously, FIXE. You can find us on Instagram. So we're going to really blow out the plant-based. There's other programs, like I said. You can choose the other ones, but I highly suggest that you pick the vegan one because I'm going to be making those recipes. So, and the sky's the limit. I have a lot of other little projects on the side here that are, again, spinning plates in the background that I know that will come forward here soon, but I don't want to say too much on them yet because I'm still ironing out the details. But those are the ones that are for sure in the forefront. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Again, all on social media. I will post all about it. So if you just go follow Color Me Courtney _ then you can find all the stuff there.
Courtney, you're awesome. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm excited, very excited of the things that you got to come. And, I thank you for coming on the show, sharing everything with me. Guys, if you're out there, the Built for Anything podcast, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave your comments, ratings. Really, really do appreciate it. It does help the show. Built for Anything podcast. You'll find us on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, iTunes. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you'll be able to listen to the Built for Anything podcast. Thank you once again to my lovely, lovely guests.
Thank you. To you.
That's us clapping. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening out there. Peace and love. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.